Hello, I know you already know about this, but I want to show you how to use a single illustration and create a simple animation with it. It won't be perfect, but I just want to show you how the new meshes work and how we can use them here. So I have this illustration from Alfredo Cáceres. I actually just took it from him, but he knows and he's very happy about that. So this is just one single image. So the idea now is to animate one single image. So I will just go to draw and create a smart warp layer for the auto triangulation. Okay, so now I have a new vector layer here, and I will start with the head. So with the add point tool, I will simply create some lines around the head, and I will do it very quickly, and this will be very rough, and I won't close it, so it will be like one single line. And now if I go to any frame different to frame 0, I can select the lines of the head. I can select one or two of the points and then press tab to select everything connected there, so that makes much easier to edit it. And now I can simply move the head, and you can see the rest of the image is moving, but the rest of the image is being distorted by the head is moving in a consistent way. So we already have this. Now, for instance, if I want to move the head, but I want to keep also the instrument consistent, I can simply go back to frame 0, and I can add a new line, let's say a new line from here to here, and now I will simply add some points. So this line will allow me to keep this consistent even when the head is moving. So now I can move the head, and of course the meshes are crossing to each other because this is a single image. I am not separating anything, but it's just to show you as an example. So now I can move this, and I can also I will press escape to unselect the points of the head, and I can also select one point of the instrument and press tab and simply move that too. So I have these two levels of control now. Now if I want more control over it, I can maybe start moving the arm. So what I will do is, again with the add point tool in frame 0, I will start just creating a shape around the arm. Actually I will move these points here so they will cover part of this shadow the arm has, and I will continue adding points here, and now I will finish around here, and I will zoom in so you can see I'm trying not to cross the lines. But what I can do now with this is that I can go to any other frame different to 0, and now I can also move the hand. So you can see, of course, it's distorting the rest of the image, but you can see how this all starts to work in some way. And now I can even start rigging. What if I put this mesh into a bone layer? And now I will simply add 2 bones for the hand. It will be very simple. And these bones, if I test them outside of frame 0, these bones are actually moving the entire image because they are moving all the points of the image. But to avoid that, I will reduce the strength of the bones with the strength bone tool. So I will drag to the left to reduce the strength to 0, and the same with this one. So now these bones are actually not moving anything yet, but what I will do now is I will go back to the mesh layer and go back to frame 0, and using the bind points tool, I will press Alt in the keyboard. I am holding Alt, and I will select this bone, this yellow bone here, and with that selected, now I will release Alt, and I will select one of the points of the arm, and now I will press Tab to connect all the points connected to it. To select all the points connected to it, and now bind. Okay, so now what is happening is that these points are following only that bone. But now I want to do the same with the hand. So I will go to the bind point tool again. I will press Alt and click over the green bone. You will see that now it has a red border. That means this bone is selected, and now I can select the bones I want to bind to this, I mean the points I want to bind to this bone. So it's this, and now I will press here bind, and you can see actually that if I unselect, these points have the same color than the bones. So what I can do now is that I can actually animate the hand. I know it's not looking good so far. I will just remove the animation I have, but with this I can already start creating, let's say, a little cycle for the hand. So I will move, let me just zoom in the timeline. I will create a keyframe in frame 1, then maybe a keyframe in frame 5 with both down, and then I will copy and paste these keyframes in frame 12, and I will create a cycle with this. So I will go right click here, cycle, the cycle will go to frame 2, and I want it relative actually. I will show you why. So I have this, and now I set it relative because I now will select this bone only, and I will select the red channel heel, which is showing me only the keyframes of this bone I have selected, and I will move it a bit to the right, so the movement of this will happen later, so we can get a softer movement. Okay, so let's say I like this. I know it's not working, but now I can continue adding lines. I can go back to the mesh, and for instance I want to keep the strings consistent. So what I will do is I will create a full line here, and now I will put this line around the other line. So basically that will help me to keep things consistent. So you can see the mesh is not working properly, and this is happening because we are working in only one layer, but I think for this example it's good enough. And let's say I want to keep this border of the instrument consistent too, so I will add another line here and simply add some points there. So now you can see the hand is not distorting the points that much. So I can even adjust this to be better. Maybe I can even add more points, and if I add more points, then the hand won't take that many pixels. So I am making it a little bit more complex, but yeah, it's still a problem, but it's good enough for what we are doing. Okay, so now let's suppose I want to also actually animate the instrument too. So I will go back to frame 0. I still have the instrument layer selected, so now I will create a line around the instrument, and let's say here again, I am not looking for perfection here, but just to keep things consistent. Okay, so now we have this, and maybe I will add another line here that I can use later. So I have this. Okay, so now if I see my animation is working like that, but now since I have some lines, I can actually create a new bone in the bone layer, which I will press escape because I want this bone to not have any parent, and I will add this big bone here. Again, I will reduce the strength of this bone to 0, and now I will use the bind point tool, Alt and click over the bone. Oh no, I made a mistake, sorry. I used the bind layer tool. Let me undo this. I need to use the bind point tool, which is this one, and press Alt and click over the bone, so it will become the borders will become red, and now I can simply select some of the points of all the lines here, so I will just select some of the points and then press tab, and that will select all the points connected, and I will bind all these points that I have selected. So now what I can do is that I can animate the instrument. So let's say I will make it go up and down, so nothing too fancy for now, and I will create a cycle with that. So maybe I can adjust the timing, maybe the cycle can be more interesting if it remains up or down for a while. Maybe it can be longer. Yeah, anyway, it's not perfect, but it's something. Maybe I can actually, if I select these keyframes and I set them as elastic, maybe I can give it one bounce, and maybe that will make the movement a bit softer. So maybe one bounce but with a bigger movement. So yeah, this bounciness can help to give a more natural sensation. Again, I'm not looking for perfection here. It's very rough, but we have this. And if I hide the lines of the mesh, this is what is happening with the illustration so far. Okay, so now let's say I want to animate this little character here. So what I will do is actually very simple. I will create a rectangle here, or maybe not a rectangle, maybe it would have one more point there, but this is, again, it's extremely simple. So I just have this this line here, and this line is it's an envelope to this character. So now I will just create a new bone, and in this case I want the new bone to be child of the selected one here. So I will just add it, and again reduce the strength, and now I will bind the points. Oops, I made a mistake again, sorry. Undo is this tool. I will bind the points here. So I am just selecting, and now this character is bound to that bone. So maybe I can actually add some dynamics to it. So I will just select the bone in frame 0, and I will open the bone constraints here, and now it will be reacting to this movement. And maybe I can edit this, so maybe I want even a stronger movement happening here, and maybe more damping, maybe a little bit of less of a spring. Yeah, let's say that. I like that. Okay, so you can see I'm just like rigging in real time, and everything is so simple. Everything is made with simple lines, so it's actually very easy to do this. Now let's say I want to isolate the I don't know what is the name of English in English for this, but I just want to isolate these shapes. So I will just continue adding lines here. So in frame 0, selecting the mesh, I will just create a single line here, and now I will start adding points to create a simple border for them. Nothing too fancy again. So you can see the software is automatically creating triangles. This is all being moved by those triangles, but I don't need to care about them really. So let's say I do this, and there. Okay, and maybe I will add some lines for the ears. So again, I'm just creating some open lines here, there, and maybe also this one. You can see everything is very simple, but now I will create a new bone for the, maybe I will actually create a bone for the body this time. So there will be a bone here, and then a bone for the head. Okay, and again I will reduce the strength of these two bones, and now I will go back to the mesh layer, use the bind points tool, and alt and click over the orange bone, so it will have a red border now, and I will select all the points related to this and bind them. So now basically what I can do is separate it to, I mean, in any other frame different to frame 0, now I can move the head. Okay, and I know the rest is not working well yet, but we will fix that. But first, actually, I want to add a couple bones for the ears. So child of the head, I will add one bone here, and again child of the head, another bone here, and I will reduce the strength, and using the bind point tool I will select this bone with alt, with holding alt on my keyboard, and now I will select these points here, and I will do the same with the other one. And now let's animate the head. So let's suppose it starts higher here, and then it becomes down here, and then a bit higher, and then higher again, and now I will create a cycle for this. And so let's see how it is working. Not very good, but let me try with elastic. So not yet. Yeah, it's moving too fast, but if I make this actually slower, this animation, maybe it will be nicer. I'm just testing. Yeah, that's nicer. I can even add a second bounce. Yeah, I'm not sure about the about the head. Maybe it should be shorter, so we can keep the head moving. So it's up, down, and up again. Okay, I don't like the elastic interpolation, so I will just keep it. Okay, let's just keep it like that. I'm not very happy, but let's... there. No, I will remove the animation of the head. I'm really not happy there, so we will make it faster. Just a simple cycle here, up and down. Yeah, I think I like this more. Okay, and now since we added bones to the ears, I can just select them in frame 0, go to the bone constraints, and I will activate the dynamics. So now the ears are moving. I know the rest of the image is moving, but we will fix that, don't worry. So now I can adjust the values. Maybe I want less spring for this. Maybe more damping. Yeah, let's keep it like that. Okay, and now in order to avoid this distortion that is happening with the neck, I will add some new lines here. So let me just take a line from here and to here, so I'm just getting this part of the body more consistent. Oh, so let me undo this because I connected a point without noticing. I don't want to connect these points because these are independent parts of the body, so I will keep them separated. So let's say this, and we could even add more separation here. Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's kind of working already, right? So let me just continue with this. Now for the butterflies, I will add some new lines for them. So I will have this line for this wing, and another line for the other wing, and a little line for this part of the other wing. Okay, and now I will add 2 bones, and these bones will be child of the head. So 1 bone for one wing, wing, sorry, and the other bone for the other one. And again, I will reduce the strength and just bind the points. So using the bind point tool, I will select first one wing and bind it, and then I will select the points of the second wing and bind them. And now I have that, and I will set bone dynamics. And now you can see, even with the default it's kind of working with the default values. We will modify them a little bit. So let's say less spring to make the movement softer, and maybe more damping to make it stop earlier. So yeah, let's say that. Okay. Alright. Now let me see, actually maybe what can help here is that we can just, since we have only 1 point here, I can select the head, and I can select this point, and this point, and bind those points to the head also. So let's see how that works. Maybe that will create a nice distortion of the neck, maybe not. Okay, but let's just keep that. Maybe I will move this one. Oops, I don't know what I did. I will move this point a bit closer here. Let's see how that works. Yeah, maybe this one a bit further away. And maybe actually this other extreme could be bound to the instrument. Yeah, I like this more. Yeah. So now let's say we want to animate the leg, because he will be marking the rhythm with the leg. So I will just add some lines here covering the leg, and they will be connected. Let's say something like this. Again, there will be distortion. This won't be clean, but I just want to show you how easy it is to work with only one image. If you separate this in Photoshop or any software, and you separate it in different lines, it will be much easier. So now I will just go back to frame 0. I unselected all the bones. So now I will add a new bone from here to here, then another one from here to here, and another one from here to here. Okay, and now I will bind the points. So I will select the mesh layer, use the bind point tool, and I will tell, okay, these points are, this part of the leg is moving with this bone, so I will bind those. And now this part of the leg is moving with this other points, with this other bone, and this part of the leg is moving with this. So now what I have is that I can actually move the leg. But I forgot to reduce the strength, so that's why the entire image was moving. But now I can move the leg, and now the entire image is not moving. But you can see the log is moving now because there is no mesh, no line there. So what I will do is I will create a simple line, let's say from here to here, and I will start creating a line for this part of the image just to make the separation. and now I will surround the leg with this line, so that will allow me to move the leg without moving the rest of the image. So it's surrounded now. So let's say like that, and actually maybe I will take it even farther to here, so I have the entire leg surrounded like that. Okay, so now I can animate the leg, and you can see the leg is not moving, at least the closer parts of the log. I can still adjust this. Maybe this line should be a bit closer here, so we don't actually move anything from here. Let's say this. Okay, yeah, this is better. Again, it won't be perfect, but I just want to do something very quick. So now I will move the leg up and down, or maybe actually the opposite. It will start down, then it will move up, and then it will move down again, like that. And I will create a cycle with this again. Yeah, maybe it's too short for now, but and now I can animate this, so when the leg is going up, maybe the foot will go down first, so it will be something like this, and then at the end here it will go down. So yeah, let's say something like this, maybe. Okay, this. So now we have this. And now, since everything, every part of the body, of the upper body is moving with this bone, so maybe we can add some rotation to this bone. Actually, not every part of the body is moving with that bone. So I will use the Reparent bone tool. So I will select this one, for instance. I will hold Alt with the keyboard, and I will click on this bone. So now it is red, and I will make it child of the main bone here, and I will do the same with this one, so it will be child of this one. So now I can rotate the upper body maybe to go there, maybe stay there, and then go up again. And now a cycle. Maybe it will be a bit slower. Yeah, let's say, yeah, something like that. And now I can even bind some of the points of the mesh, because they should be following the main bone now. So I will go to the bind, go back to frame 0, sorry, go back to the bind points tool, select this bone by holding Alt, so now the border will be red, and I will press now I will press Shift, because I want to add some points to this selection. So I will add all these points that are not bound to anything. They will be bound to the body, especially the bones on this part. So let me bind them. So now you can see they are following the main body. So we have this illustration, and of course we can continue adding stuff. For now I will just add some other parts. So for instance, I don't want this dot to move, so I will surround it so it won't move. The same with this one, and the same with this little dot here too. So it's just surrounded by a line. So now you can see they are not moving. And maybe at these parts where the background is moving there, if you can see it at the top, I will just create a line here and a long line here, and maybe a long line here and another long line here. So now I have like a frame there. And there you have it. Very basic, it's not fully working yet, but you can see the potential. And I want to show you one last thing. Let's just create a Smartbone, just to create one. So I can still create, for instance, a new bone here with no parent if I want, and I will call this let's say rotation. Okay, and now we will open the actions window, which is here. Create a new action, so it will be called rotation because that's the name of the bone I have selected. I will actually show the label here, and I will tell the software that every time this bone rotates to the right, I want the instrument. I will just select the points of the instrument here, and now I will use the magnet tool because it makes me easier to edit several points at once, and I will check these selected points only. So now what I will do is to simulate a rotation of this instrument, so you can see this part of the instrument will be bigger and the other parts will be a bit shorter. Okay, again, nothing too fancy, it's just playing with this. Okay, so let's say that's enough. I know it's not great, but we have that rotation, which looks kind of weird here, but okay, let's say this is good. So now I will go back to the main line by clicking here, and now I can add this rotation. So now we can add maybe a cycle too. I like to do cycles, so I will just create a cycle for this one. So now the rotation doesn't make any sense, but yeah, let's say that. So there you have. It took me a while, I mean half hour for this tutorial, but you can see how you can actually create an animation from one single illustration. It's not great because I don't have. It will be better to have the material separated in some layers. So if we had the arm separated in one layer, we could avoid having this distortion that is happening there in the middle. But anyway, I think it works nice enough. What do you think? Okay, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.